On June 20th, 2025, I went to Busch Gardens with my family. That day was actually quite cool for a summer day in where I live. That's kind of it's kind of cool. I myself am a roller coaster junkie. I love roller coasters. I'm telling you, like they are some of my most favorite things about life in general, and I don't understand people who don't like them, but that's fine because some people have motion sickness, and I understand that. But I, for one, am a roller coaster junkie. So, my opinion matters. So today I thought, I don't really do tier lists at all. I want to do one for fun, so I'm gonna try doing one. Let's get into it. All right, we're done. I think we're done. Cool. So, I'm gonna count roller coasters like the traditional ones, the wooden ones, and the water ones. Anyway, the first one up, the one I for some reason continue going back to the first time, every single time I go back to Williamsburg, I always do this one first. I don't know why. It just seems to be the one that's the introduction to everything else, and is a good starter. It's the Loch Ness Monster. It's actually one of the older roller coasters here. I heard it was built in '78, so it's actually one of the older ones here. But it is a solid ride. I would say it's probably one of the more tamer ones. Like I said, there's only two that are less tame than this one of the main roller coaster types. The traditional ones. It's a very good one. I'd say it's a good starter one. So I think it's kind of right here. I wouldn't say it's quite up to this point because there's a lot of roller coasters that are more intense than this one. But it's fun enough to where it's like, yeah, I enjoy this one thoroughly. It's not a bad one to ride. I cannot say the same for the next one, which, to be honest, I never rode the original Big Bad Wolf ride. I think it's for younger kids, though, because, man, the first half of it, I was feeling decently good about it. And then the second half, it was like a joyride almost. It was kind of like a nice gust in the wind in my face. It didn't really have much intensity, especially towards the end of it. So, it was good. It was a good ride. It wasn't like... none of these rides are bad. It's just that one didn't seem like a one that's on my to-do list if I ever come back to it, because it's not that crazy. The Big Bad Wolf Rolls Revenge thing, I don't know. When I saw the Alpengeist looking seats, I was excited, but then when I got on the ride, I was like, no, it's really not that good. Anyway, next up, I rode the Scoot. That's one of the water rides, and while water rides don't have the intensity, what they do have is the water. And the water makes a huge impact on the intensity of the ride. I don't think Scoot was crazy, but it was definitely a decent ride. There was a couple spots that you go down fast, down slopes, especially towards the very end with the Scoot sign and the cabin. Also all the saw blades and stuff. I think it's cool. It's a Canadian style coaster. Not really a coaster, but it's a water one. I think it was fun. It was fun. It's nice to get wet every now and then. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. I wouldn't say it's quite Loch Ness since, again, it's a water ride, but again, it was fun. It was fun to ride. Alpengeist. This is the first one on the list I would say is, actually really good. I'm telling you. The intensity of this ride is no joke. You're gonna feel it the entire way through, and it's just really fun. It turns and twists around, turns everywhere, and it's honestly kind of violent of a roller coaster. But man, it's by far one of the best ones out there. It's one of the best ones in Williamsburg, and I think it's up near the top. Pompeii, ooh, Pompeii. This one's iconic, but it only has one good part, and I think it's really the end drop, right? Because you're going up this giant shaft, and then you go into this little cave area where there's all these, warning signs and bad things are gonna happen. Because it's about Pompeii. It's an old Italian city that got blown up by a volcano. But It wasn't a bad ride. It's a pretty good ride. I'd say, in fact, I'd say the best part about it is that final drop where you go into the water, and then there's people that will literally like pay to spray water on top of you with these little geysers. I think the wetness level of this ride out of all the water rides is probably the highest, so it's a really good one. I think it's the best water ride out there. Next up is Roman Rapids. The last time I went to Busch Gardens, that was the only time I ever went on Roman Rapids. I don't think I've ever been on it, ever in my life, and it was all right. I would say it's probably the kiddiest water ride I've ever ridden. Not really, but like at Busch Gardens, out of all the water rides, this one is probably the best for kids because like your upper body doesn't get wet very much. It's really just your feet and your legs maybe that get wet because it's not that intense. It really is not. And that's why it's like a. I mean, you're literally going down. It's like a lifesaver kind of boat looking thing. It's not that crazy, so I don't think it's anything. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not anything crazy, but yeah, that's all the water rides. I would say none of them are quite this level, but I would say they're not bad. They're not bad rides at all. Tempesto. Tempesto's a weird one because the intensity of this ride is incredibly high, but the length is not. In fact, I think it's one of the I think it's the shortest ride on this entire list. I think that matters because the one that I'm going to talk about next is literally 4 times as long, and with the same intensity or close to the same intensity. I think Tempesto, because of its intensity, would be up here, but because of how long it is, it's a thriller, right? It's not really it's not an icon, but it is a nice one to ride. It's got some crazy turns, and you go upside down, like you dangle a little bit. That's uncomfortable. Ooh, it's uncomfortable. And there's only one other ride that can match that. It's an uncomfortable ride, but man, it is terrifying when you first get on it. But it usually has longer lines because it only can have one cart on the track because of how it's designed. It's kind of like a seesaw in a way. Not really a seesaw, but it's like the coaster sort of goes up and then back down, then up again, and then back down, and then it does its loops. It's a closed circuit. So it's just the way it's designed. It can only have one cart on the track, which means that things take a long time to turn through. I think that's part of the reason why Apollo's Chariot is right next to it, is because Tempesto takes a long time. So it's to ease the demand. But still, though, I mean, it's just the way it's designed. It's not meant to be something that's super long, because it can't be. If it was a long ride, then the lines would be incredibly long on this thing. But yeah, next one, the one that's right next to it, Apollo's Chariot. This one is really good. This one's a really solid coaster. What does it do? This one's a really solid coaster. In fact, I'd say it's right below Alpengeist, but because I believe that there are 3 up in that top category that I really think deserve it, I don't think Apollo's Chariot is quite at that level. I don't think it goes upside down, does it? I don't know. But this one and the Griffin go really high up in the sky, because whenever you look up in the sky, once you're on the top of the first hill of Apollo's Chariot, you notice that Griffin is all the way over there to like your bottom right. Griffin is like saying hi, and you can also see Tempesto pretty close. And I think it's pretty cool. But this ride is incredibly fast. Like, it's a fast ride. And I think its theme is pretty cool as well. I like the Greek and Roman themes. I think they're really cool. But again, it's like what's his name? It's like Matt Kenseth. It's like Matt Kenseth versus Jimmy Johnson. Matt Kenseth is incredible. He's an incredible driver. But Jimmy's a whole nother level, I'm telling you. And that's the kind of situation with Apollo's Chariot. It's a really good ride. It's just I think there's better ones out there. But anyway, the next one, Pantheon. I'm going to spoil it immediately. This one is my favorite one. I love this one. And it's because of just, it's creative. It's creative. It's relatively new, but it's not only that, it's just incredibly fast. It's got everything, pretty much. Like, it's just such a interesting ride. that I think is going to stay for a very long time. And it has that sort of thrill that you're looking for that just turn up to the max. Like, I mean, this ride is simply remarkable when it first came out. I don't know how something like that even beats the Griffin, but I really think it does. In fact, I'm going to put the Griffin right next to it because the Griffin is iconic for its dangling drop. And let me tell you, I think Pantheon overall is the best, but I think the Griffin has the best drop in the entire park. When you're dangling, after you stop dangling and then you start going down this like 95-degree slope, it is a feeling you can only get once in your life. The sheer amount of speed that you feel when you go down that first drop is almost enough to put you to sleep. Like, it's insane how much it is. And I think that these three rides, especially these two, the top two, Griffin and Pantheon, are the best coasters there, the most intense ones. They also have the highest height limits. I think Alpengeist as well has one as well. And that's because they're just such an intense ride. They are. So, the last two is an old classic, an old roller coaster that's been here for a while, and then very, very iconic one as well. Verboten. This is the German one. I think it's right here. It has a lot going well for it. It really does. But it's just, again, same thing with the Apollo's Chariot. It's such a good ride. But there's ones that are more intense than that, you know? Because I'm grading these by intensity and, like, what I really feel about them. I really think that the best roller coasters are the ones that will make you shit yourself. That's just my personal opinion. But this one makes you shit yourself, but not as much as these ones. These ones make you really, like, dump the dookie. So, you know, it really takes a lot for it to be really good. Because, like, at the end of these rides, I was like, whoa, I felt something. At the ends of these rides, I'm like, I still felt something, but it's just a little bit less, you know? It's just a little bit less. But that's alright. Last one's Invader. I think it's solidly right here. I think the Invader is a little underrated for considering the fact that it's a wooden roller coaster. Like, it's actually really good for what it does. But again, because of the technological limitations that it has, it doesn't have the same intensity as all the modern ones. But that's fine, you know? Again, you don't have to be flashy and crazy to be good, you know? Invader's pretty good of a roller coaster. Though I do have one gripe. I don't know when this was, but it was a few years ago when we went to Busch Gardens, that the Invader line was an hour and a half long. I don't know how that happened, but I think part of it is because of how low the age requirement is for this track. Because, to be honest, the height limit is not very high, and I see little kids in the lines all the time. Now, the most recent time I just went there, the line was non-existent. That was because that was the last one that we went on. So we went on Invader at like 7 o'clock p.m. So all the traffic from roller coasters is just gone. And I think that's the best time to use that ride because this ride has probably one of the longest built-in lines. Same thing with Revolton that I've ever seen. Like, it's incredible how long the line is at times. But that time, the line was so short. I mean, we got on it like within 5 minutes of getting in line. It was really short, and that was quite pleasantly surprising. But yeah, so that's my list. I don't know if you'll agree with this or not. I mean, nobody watches my videos. No one comments anything. Even people who do watch my videos, which is like a few people, they don't say anything. You know, hi, you can say things. That's okay. You're allowed to say things. I hope this was a fun video. I think it was fun. I mean, I like talking about things that are normal instead of weird stuff that I used to on my old channel. So, yeah. I'll do more of these at like a later date, but I don't really want to make this my main stuff. Like, this will be like a random special video from time to time, you know? But I think this was fun. So, I hope you had fun too. Anyway, I'll catch you later, and I'll see ya later.